Hi guys, in this video I'm sharing what my 9th grader is using for the 2024-2025 school year. For math thus far she was using Matthew C all the way to pre-algebra in the 8th grade, and we were going back and forth as to what direction she would go in once we got into high school. Ultimately we decided on Showman Math. She did try their dive earth science last year and she did really well with the program, so now she's a little bit familiar with how their system works, the website works. She does like Dr. Showman's style of teaching, and not that she didn't like Matthew C, but she also said that she wanted to try to see if it was a little bit more challenging, just to kind of, she can feel what it's like, just in case she decided to go to college. So those 2 points is what she used to make that decision. So we'll see how that goes. So she is doing Algebra 1 with integrated geometry. There is a getting started video that you are encouraged to watch. Now you're encouraged to watch it with your child, but I did watch it by myself as soon as I got the program, and the first day of her math lesson she watched it by herself. So we watched it separately, but we did watch the video. Then I printed out the teacher guide. I like to have that together with a few other documents that they had on there so that I have that physically to refer to. There are a few instruction sheets that they recommend that you print out for them. So I printed those out so that she has those, physically while she's working through the program. She has her math notebook so that she can take notes while, the lecture is going on. They're recommended to take good notes. And then she also has a spiral, little book for formulas. Now she hasn't started using this as yet. They recommend they either have a small notebook or a spiral, card thing so that they can write formulas where necessary. When it comes to the geometry portion, they either need a protractor set, or they can download the free app that they recommend in the program, right? So in the getting started, they tell you the free app that they can download on their iPad. Most likely she's probably not going to use that, but I did download it just in case. And they do not require a graphing calculator at this point. They can use, just a scientific calculator. But after I got all my other books and stuff, ultimately, it just came, so I got a graphing calculator. The reason being, because I expect this to be a little bit challenging for her, I wanted to give her all, the necessary options so that whichever one works best at this point, she can do that. So if working with just a protractor, works well, she can choose to do that. Or if following along to get started with the graphing calculator at this point, since Dr. Showman is going to be using it, it's going to work better, then she has that as an option, right? When they get started using this, I believe that he is, based on, if I remember correctly, they are going to learn how to use it while he is using it. But I'm going to open this up and watch a YouTube video with her so that she can kind of get a feel of it before, actually doing it with him. So that is math. So that will be 1 credit for Algebra 1 and a half credit for geometry. And then God spend next year, when she does Algebra 2 with integrated geometry, she'll get another 1.5 credit. She is also going to be doing their science. She is doing their chemistry and physics for 1 credit. Now, it does recommend that if you're doing chemistry and physics, that they've actually completed Algebra 1 or currently doing Algebra 1. All right. So this is her lab manual, and then she have her notebook for taking notes. So that would be another credit. So both of those she is doing on Dive Into Math website. All right, so now for language arts, I was aiming for 4 components of language arts. However, we ended up with 5, only because even though I did not feel like she needed to complete this detective reading comprehension book, she said that she wanted to do it. This is the last book in the series. I really like the series, and she decided she wanted to finish it off. So we have reading comprehension, and then the other 4 components of her language arts would be vocabulary, grammar, writing, and her literature studies is actually going to be incorporated within history. All right, so for vocabulary, she is doing the Wordly Wise. She did book 8 last year. That went really well. So we have book 9 with the answer key and the test booklet. For grammar, she did Fixed Grammar Book 4 last year. We really like the series. This works really well for her. So she's doing Book 5, student book, Teacher's Manual. For writing, she is doing The Power in Your Hands by Sharon Watson. She really likes the series. She has had this nonfiction and fiction books for about a year. Not writing in it, but she's been using it for her own research. She really likes this series. So she is doing the nonfiction this year, and God especially do the fiction series next in the 10th grade, right? It does teach them a little bit on how to structure, like their essays, but what I think it really focuses on or specialize in, and I think that's why she wanted it for research, is like how to make the different parts of her like essay or story, like how to make those really strong, whether it's to have a stronger thesis, a stronger introduction, a strong conclusion. It does have proofreading and stuff in here, so it really works a lot on the style and making sure that they improve every section of their essay. So she really is enjoying this, and so that's good. So she's doing this for writing. For history, we ultimately decided to go with Nutgrass. I was kind of going back and forth. There was another history curriculum that I was looking at, and for literature, I was going with a couple literature guides. And then I decided that maybe I should go with a history curriculum that has literature incorporated, because there was another one that I was looking at. I can't remember it right now. But there was another one that I was looking at that has literature incorporated in it, but I decided to go with Nutgrass. If she does all aspects of this, because I went with the option that has the literature books included, she would be able to get a credit for Bible, literature, and for history. All right. So how it works, so the packet that I bought it off of Nutgrass. It has the world history part 1 and 2. Now she's doing world history because she did US history in the 8th grade, so she wanted to do world history this year. So it has part 1 and part 2. Then it has the student review book, the quiz and exam book, the parent teacher's guide, in their words, and then it has the 12 readers. All right. And how it works is they start off with exploring world history part 1, and at the beginning it starts off by giving them tips on writing, like writing styles and how to write a research paper, because there are smaller research papers that they would be, or smaller pieces that would be required to write. If it is they're doing the literature portion, it's recommended that they complete at least 6 of the optional writing projects, throughout the year, if it is they're doing the composition or the literature portion. And then there is a larger project or writing research paper that they are advised to, to complete, based on, the exploring the world history. All right. And that project is like about, I think, like 2,000 words. However, they do give you a 4-week schedule on how to plan out that research paper, right, to get it done effectively. Right. So, of course, you read through the section on how to write a research paper. You go through there. And then each lesson starts off with a summary of what's going to be taught in that lesson. Memory work that's going to be included, that is for the Bible portion. Books that's going to be used. So at the beginning of each lesson, you will know if they will be referring to the in their words, if they're just going to be referring to their Bible, or if they would need to get one of these literature books. All right. Then it's every unit has 5 lessons. So it's intended to be done Monday through Friday, I believe. All right. So you start off the week by reading the lesson, or they read the lesson, right? And then at the end of each lesson, it has some assignments. If they're doing the Bible portion, they read and they have some memory work to do. Then the projects, every unit has like 3 3 optional projects that they have to work on, or they can choose to work on. But as I said, if they're doing the composition, then they need to do at least 6 of those throughout the year. So they can choose to do one of those projects, and it can be something as cooking or building something. And because they're using it for high school, they do recommend that they really put their all into, even if it's a cooking assignment, that they really put their all into it, because they're doing this on a high school level. And then there is the student review. Now, based on going through the parent guide, you have 2 options on how to do the student review. Now, you can choose to read the history, like if it is your child has a high retention, like reading and, retaining, you can read the history aloud and discuss using the student review, right? So after every lesson, there are some questions, about 10 questions. You can go through and, go through those questions and answer and discuss. Then there's a commentary section. Of course, that's for the Bible portion. You can read through that. And every lesson within a unit, there's 5 lessons in each unit. Every time you read, like every lesson that you read, you go through, you answer those questions, you read the commentary. At the end of that unit, there is a quiz, and that is where you are going to refer to this quiz and exam book, which even if it is you don't choose to have them write, like go through every lesson and actually, write out the answer as opposed to discussing, they do need to do the quiz. And I would think they need to do the quiz and exam book. All right. And after every, I believe it's 5 units. So basically after every 30 lessons, there is a final exam, and there is a final exam for history, Bible, and literature. So if you're doing all 3 for credit, then in addition to the projects for literature, they will also need to complete these exams. And looking through it, like the quiz and answer book, it's once they read through and they understand what it is they're reading, this actually does not seem very difficult at all. All right. So I like the idea of reading together and discussing it, because last year I really did enjoy, reading with her the different Mirror and, Howard Zinn book. So, I'm thinking that we're going to go in that direction. So we'll be doing, I'll be doing US history with my younger ones, but that'll be very short because we're just using the big fat notebook, and then world history with my eldest. So they'll all be kind of doing a little bit of world and US history. All right. So I'm thinking that's the direction that we're going to go in. Now, if it is at any point we wanted to get a slightly different perspective, we just have this in mind to refer to Crash Course. She watched all of their world and US history videos over the last couple of years. She likes Crash Course, so that's going to be one resource that we're going to keep in mind if we wanted a different perspective. And also, recently I discovered the OER project. We're going to keep the OER project and Crash Course, as options if at any point during this curriculum we wanted a slightly different perspective. We're going to refer to that. But this is going to be her history together. So she's going to get a credit for history, Bible, and literature using this program. For world languages, she is going to be doing Spanish. Now, I went back and forth on whether it is I wanted to use like a homeschool curriculum, one of the more traditional curriculum, or if I wanted to use something else. And based on where she's at right now with her Spanish, but also after going through a lot of the reviews and stuff, I just don't know how it is she would have done, like probably say jumping into something like BGU at this stage. So I did go through a couple options, off of Amazon. There was 2 options by McGraw-Hill: complete Spanish step by step, and then basic Spanish. The basic Spanish had a lot of pop culture questions in there that she wouldn't even know the answers to. So, but I think she would have preferred that one because it was definitely less intimidating than what we ended up going with. And then the complete Spanish, even though that one wasn't a bad option, is definitely geared towards more adults. If you never did Spanish before, that one is really good. It starts from the very basic, assuming that you don't know anything, but it has some questions asking about alcoholic drinks and stuff. So that's why we ultimately decided not to go with that. There is an audio version that you can buy. I mean, I know that's not what we went with, but there is an audio version that you can buy, but it's not exactly, lining up with the complete Spanish step-by-step. If you did listen to it, you can sort of follow along. Like the audio is similar, but it's not like walking through the workbook. It's two separate programs, even though they're connected. Right? And even if you wanted to see what section of the audio was connected to the actual text, it's a little bit, it's not easy to kind of figure out which tracks line up with the book. But anyway, we ultimately didn't go with that. We went with Spanish now. The only thing with this I don't like is that the audio files, it's not word for word. It's very close. But what I think it is that if it is you're speaking, sometimes the way how you will speak one-to-one, you might leave out a few words compared to if it is you were reading from what it is you wrote down. So I'm thinking that that's what it is, but it's close enough where you can follow along. I did listen to 2 of the audio tracks with her, and there was just 1 or 2 words in between that was left out. So we'll see how that goes. So as her writing portion of her Spanish, she's going to go through the audio files with this, the Spanish now with the audio files. And she does have, I did get her Spanish to English dictionary, but she's also doing Duolingo. Actually, they're all doing Duolingo. I did try Rosetta Stone, a 6-month subscription through Time for Learning. With they use Rosetta Stone, a 6-month subscription. And I like the fact that they teach using pictures, but they had a choice between Rosetta Stone, Duolingo, and we were able to get Mango Languages through our library free. The Mango Languages is not bad, but the Duolingo is definitely more interactive. So they all prefer the Duolingo. So she's doing Duolingo as well. They're all keeping up, their streak as a minimum. So they do a little bit of Duolingo every day. So she's doing that to get like step-by-step guide through Spanish, and then writing portion, she's going to practice using this. So for Spanish, Duolingo with this and this. All right, so that is her main, main subjects. All right, so for her electives, for visual and performing arts, she's going to do 1 semester of piano and then a semester of drawing. For the colleges here, they can either do a year-long project or they can do a semester of, one of those recommended courses. So that's how we're going to do the visual arts. So that's going to be her first elective, and then her second elective is going to be one of her coding courses that she's taking on Code Academy. Right now she's doing Introduction to Machine Learning. So that's going to count for her second elective. Now technically she's also going to get a credit for Bible through, in her history. And then for PE, they are going to take a few karate courses, so that is going to give us a few hours, but I'm going to be counting their hours. They go to bike, they ride their bikes, they ride their scooters. I do Just Dance with the girls. We take walks. All of that is going to count, but I'm also going to throw in there like a couple of videos on, like eating healthy and also stretching. Particularly, I wanted them to get into stretching for a particular reason. I wanted them to get in, like watch a couple of videos on stretching. Now, she did do the Life Pack Health, curriculum last year for credit, right? But, I do want to incorporate a couple, health related videos, and that's how we're going to put our, PE together. All right. All right. So that is going to be her curriculum. So her main subject, she will have math with algebra 1 with geometry. So math, chemistry with physics, chemistry and physics, her language arts program, history, Spanish, and then for her electives, she have her visual and performing arts, which comprises of piano and art, and then coding. And as a I guess we could count Bible and PE as well. All right. So that's 9 possible credits. If I'm to be honest, I do suspect that she is going to complete what she needs to get the Bible credit. But for Bible study, she's going to read all of the commentaries. At the end of the year, we'll see what it is we actually do. If she does all of the memory work to get the actual credit. So 8, possibly 9 credits she's aiming for this year. All right, so my 9th grader, she also has a planner as well, where she has her main subjects to the top, and then other things that she partakes in at the bottom. And the goal this year is the first 3 hours, well, all, more or less, we are all, together with just a very short break in between, probably like about 10 minutes. And she likes to start off her day where she starts with something that she enjoys. So that might be writing or history or both, depending on how long they take in the first hour. And then she'll be doing math and science in the order that she wants to get those done in the early part of the day. And when we're going to break off for a little bit, I have some stuff that I have to do. They're going to be working on things that they have, there are other things that they work on. And then we're going to come back, for the early afternoon portion, probably around 1 to 3 or so. She is going to be in here or doing her schoolwork, even if she's not in the schoolroom. And my younger two, they are going to break off a little bit earlier than her. Right, and that is, our tentative schedule for this year. Since about the 6th grade, she had decided that she actually prefers to do most, if not all, of her subjects every day. That was a decision that she made about 2 years ago. So I think that that's what she's also going to try to do this year. That doesn't include her electives. The electives are going to be done on just certain days of the week. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you have a successful school year, and I will talk to you in another one. Bye.